the main reasons, because there are a lot of reasons that kind of add up to. Hope you're having a great day wherever you are. So just wanted to come to you today because there's a couple of things I think are really important for the success of you in network marketing. It doesn't matter if you are just starting or if you consider yourself a seasoned network marketer. There's a lot of reasons why people in network marketing don't succeed. I'm not saying that the two things I'm going to talk about today are the main reasons, because there are a lot of different reasons that kind of add up to people not being successful in network marketing. But I wanted to share with you today something that I thought was important when it comes to understanding your success. There's a couple of different things involved in network marketing. The first is customers, or building your customer base, because somebody has to buy the products at the end of the day. If a company's not offering a product, they're not selling a product to the consumer, that's a huge red flag to begin with, okay? Huge red flag. Somebody has to sell a product. Somebody has to consume a product. If that's not happening, then walk away, number one. But the number one thing that I wanted to talk to you about in terms of successes is customers. You need to understand who your customer is. What does your customer look like? What are they looking for? How old are they? Is it men or women or both? Do you have a wide range of audience that go from younger adolescent, maybe teens, to closer to seniors or older? Where does that fall? Because you need to start to design your plan, particularly for marketing, of who you're going to be talking to and what your talking points are going to be. What is your message to people? What are the things that you're going to say? What you're going to say to attract people to your product? And if you just go out and just start talking, and you don't have a direction, you don't have a point of view to bring people into you, you're going to struggle. You're going to have a hard time. You're going to think that it's just not going to work. So identifying your customer, demographics of who they are, what do they respond to, and here's a couple of tips. If you've got a product that's similar to something else, do some research on other products. Look at your competition. Understand the message that your competition is giving in the marketplace, whether it's on social media or wherever it might be. But that in itself, by the way, is a clue. Where are they targeting their market? Is it on social media? If it's on social media, where? What platform? If it's not on social media, if it's maybe an email or if it's in a different medium, just understand and be aware of where they're coming from, because that's going to relate to your customer base if you have a similar product offering. So understand the message that is being put out there by similar products or competition, I'm going to say. Make note of the words that they use, make note of the phrases that they use, and try to identify who they're trying to sell to and what platforms. Critical step number one for building a customer base. You have to do it. If you don't build customers and touch that element, you're going to fail. So and by the way, it's a perfect way to start building for yourself and not go throw up all over your friends and family and try to sell them on what you're trying to do, right? Because we know that's the hardest sell that there ever is, right? I don't sell my friends and family. I just don't do it. It's hard. And your friends and family know you from a different perspective. They'll look at you in a different way. So here's the recap on success for customer building. We're going to do demographics, understand who our customer is. We're going to write down who we think our age group is, whether it's male or female, whoever that demographic might look like. We're going to identify through our competition where the competition is advertising, where they're showing up. We're going to understand where our competition is, what message they're putting out there, what keywords that you hear them using or you see them using in texting, or in their what we call in their text. Let's just call it text. And understand.
What's his name? What's his name?
Hey guys, good morning. How for me to do anything? It may not start the conversation that I want people to start with me. But if I ask you, and by the way, it's a perfect way to start building for yourself and not go throw up all over your friends and family and try to sell them on what you're trying to do, right? Because we know that's the hardest sell that there ever is, right? I don't sell my friends and family. I just don't do it. It's hard. And your friends and family know you from a different perspective. They'll look at you in a different way. So here's the recap on success for customer building. We're going to do demographics, understand who our customer is. We're going to write down who we think our age group is, whether it's male or female, whoever that demographic might look like. We're going to identify through our competition where the competition is advertising, where they're showing up. We're going to understand where our competition is, what message they're putting out there, what keywords that you hear them using or you see them using in texting, or in their what we call in their text. Let's just call it text. And understand the phrases that they're using. So listen to that and write it down and identify how those keywords and phrases relate to your product. And then create your own messaging based on your own terminology, your own personality, who you are, make it yours, and then target those people and build your customer base. I give you an example in Nueva, for example. I go through and I highlight the keywords and key elements, features and benefits are important. But for example, I'm writing a campaign right now on, we've got the features and benefits of peptides, for example. We have incredible peptides. But here's what I don't think we touch on. Why do I need to take peptides? I think that's a really good customer message. What's in it for me as a customer? Why do I need to take peptides? I get the features and benefits. I can read your features and benefits. But if I'm not in the market for peptides, it may not relate to me and it may not trigger me to do anything. It may not start the conversation that I want people to start with me. But if I ask you, why should you take peptides? You're going to be like, yeah, I don't know, because I've never thought about taking peptides. You see the difference in that. I can give features and benefits. I can tell people all about my product. I can identify my core audience and my demographic. But maybe they're not in the market right now. But maybe they also don't understand why it's important for them to be in the market. You understand that difference? It's really a critical difference. So I want you to think about that. If you have a product or a service, why does that customer need your product or service? And phrase it that way. Peptides? Why do you need to take peptides? Why does anybody or everybody need to take peptides? And I think that, when we get down to the nuts and bolts of peptides, for example, this is a direct messenger to your body, kind of like a stem cell, that's going to trigger your cells to do a specific activity that's important to your body. Like for us, it's recovery. For us, it's like exercise in a bottle. Like it's like you doing 45 minutes of cardio. That's what our peptide does. So why should you take peptides? Well, maybe you want to enhance your cardiovascular routines. Maybe you can't do cardio, but you need that stimulation in your body. That's what a peptide does. That's what our peptide does. So it's not about me. I'm just giving you an example of what this message can look like of why your customer should be taking whatever product you're selling. So that's step number one, customers. Step number 2, and the second part, in particular in our case in Nueva, we have two different plans. We have a customer plan and we have a team building plan. They both work independently but together in volume, okay? So you can go one way or the other, or both, doesn't matter. But on the team building side, this is key. You need to understand your industry a little bit. So many people just jump into this and they don't understand the industry. And by the way, this goes the same for customers. You need to understand your industry. Your product is important in an industry category outside of network marketing. What is that industry targeting? That crosses over into the team building side. In the team building side, your key to success here is understanding your industry, understanding the network marketing industry, what it is, what has happened in the past. Why does network marketing have a bad rap? And what are we doing as stewards of the industry to move forward in a way that we can overcome those challenges that our industry has had in the past? If you were to ask me, I think it comes back to the customer. I think so many people are trying to pull the wool over people's eyes when it comes to customer building. And it becomes generating volume within your team organization. That doesn't build long-term stability. It's a setup for failure eventually. The other thing I think within this team building side, to set up yourself for success in team building, you have to have systems. The people that I know that have went from nothing to success to 6-figure earnings annually to 7-figure earnings, we're talking $1 million+ a year in earnings. What's the difference? What's the difference between a few $100s a month and $1 million a year? Well, it's about plugging into the right systems. Think about this for a minute. When you start a job, do they just throw you in and they don't show you around? They don't give you any training? They don't give you an employee handbook of kind of what the policies and procedures and norms are of the company? You see, these are critical elements for you to build a team. This is where your success comes in. And this is where it makes a difference of bringing people along that are going to be with you for the long term. I've been doing this for 25 years. And I have had people with me in my team building organization for 25 years. Like, they don't leave because they know that we always have a system. They know that they will always be taken care of and understand how to build and what to do. So these are really important elements. So let me recap from the beginning really quick and we'll wrap this up. Successes to customer building. Identify your customer and demographics. Understand who you're speaking to. Look at your competition to understand how your competition is targeting a similar product that you might be offering. And then write down the bullet points of what's important in that targeting to come up with keywords and key phrases. But then switch this around to make sure that you're targeting your customer in a way that you ask the question, why should they be interested in your product? Why should they take your product? What's in it for them? Because maybe they're not looking for what you're offering at that moment, or they may not think they are, until you tell them why it's for them. Now, shifting over to the building side. As you're building your teams, you need to create the system. Onboarding and training and understanding your culture and what you want to build going forward. That includes setting your goals. That's daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, and annual goals. That's ranks. That's what you want to achieve. It's important to set this foundation as a builder so that you have the right expectations in place and you hold people accountable to those expectations. At the end of the day, this is a business, people. It doesn't matter to me if you just want to make $100 or $200 or $500 a month. It doesn't matter. but I handle my business as a business. And with that comes a daily method of operation, things that I do every day, things I expect my team to do every day, training, and building expectations and goals to a future rank. That's what we do. That's network marketing. So those are two things that you can implement today in whatever you're doing in network marketing and build your customer base and build your team for a successful, strong foundation in the future. I hope this helped, guys. Thank you so much for joining me.